273 or visit 3abn.tv/news.
3ABN Radio Network is happy to welcome Global 99.5 FM to our broadcast family of radio affiliates. We invite you to tune in every Sunday and listen to Christian lifestyle programming featuring Bible teaching, children and family issues, health news, inspirational music, and much more. Join us every Sunday and be blessed on Global 99.5.
This is Global Radio 99.5.
So you don't have anybody, you don't have anyone in the thing? In the zone, no?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm in his zone. Greetings from Atlanta today. Manager Brenda Ritchie.
There is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain.
Yes, I just want to wish those of you a pleasant good afternoon on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. Truly, there's power in Jesus to break every chain. Whatever the chain you face with today, greetings to Brenda Roche, all the way from the USA, Atlanta. Wow. We got the international audience on. So just type in the chat right now if you're from someplace else other than Nassau, Bahamas. Let us know who are international audience joining us here. Today, it's a blessing, it's a privilege just to be alive in the land of the living. Folks, you're listening to Transforming Lives on Global 99.5. Your host, Dave Williams, along with my co-host, Jackie Gardner. Surely she'll be joining us later. I'm live in the studios, located on the corner of Elizabeth Avenue and Shirley Street. We are broadcasting Grand Bahama in the north, all the way to Inagua in the south. That's throughout the family islands of the Bahamas. And that's for our international audience. We also on cable TV 974. Our WhatsApp line 433-6917. Also, if you wish to call in 326-0271, 326-0271, or 433-6917. I just got a text from someone in regards to a young lady. They're having a cookout. I didn't get to reach the person who sent the WhatsApp, but I believe she wanted me to share this information for anyone if you're able to give some support. There's a breakfast medical fundraiser in aid of ovarian cancer surgery. The young lady name is Philippa Newton, and it's Saturday, October 22nd. So that's this Saturday coming up, right? Yes. 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at C.A. Christie West Bay Street. And she says the menu will be chicken sauce, stew fish, boiled fish, stew conch, potato bread, pastries, and drinks. For more information, 456-7201. 456-7201. Can somebody perhaps just type that in the chat? Or 436-1017. I repeat, 456-01. 436-1017. So that's 456-7201, 436-1017. And so, as you know, I don't know about you, but I get kind of tired of persons have to have cookouts, you know, to support the medical. I honestly, I in this life, I am just tired of that. I'm looking forward to the day when, you know, what I'm talking about in this life now, when we no longer have to have cookouts to raise funds for medical, you know, situations. So I hope we can have some form of national health insurance. I'm fully in support of that. Like my sister country, Turks and Caicos Islands, you know, which would be a big help, a big assistance, because cookouts don't raise much money. And then when we have to, you know, go to cookouts just to support, you know, is sad, right? So I'm looking forward to that day. But folks, I welcome you here today, this Sunday, once again. Those of you tuning in on the radio, television, Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, this is an opportunity to invite your family, your friends, and others on the program today. I just met a friend of mine just downstairs while waiting, and he said he was going to the hospital, a schoolmate of mine, to say his final words to his mother. Now, you know, I said, what you mean your final words? He said, well, that's what you have to do, say his final words. I said, well, you know, I mean, and the God in Christ whom we serve is able, you know. He said, man, my mother didn't live a life, and I'm going to the hospital to say her final words. So I just thought to share it with you, you know, it just tells us, you know, what this life is. And so I don't know if I call him later on this evening, if I call him an hour later when I come out the studios, you know, I don't know what the results may be. But, you know, it's such a, I guess, a sad occasion for him. But folks, today on this program, as usual, you know, we always begin this program where Dr. Macmillan talks about what we call moments with Christ. And so Dr. Macmillan, we're just inviting you as usual to share with us with these 5 minutes, moments with Christ. What word you want to share with us today, Dr. Macmillan?
Good afternoon, Brother Dave, Elder Dave. Hope you're doing fine. If we listen to you, it's a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I hope it's the same with you in Christ.
Yes, sir.
That's the way it must be. Considering once again your subject matter, here's one other reason why we begin this program with this 5-minute period. It's because Jesus Christ is so vital to us physically and spiritually.
Yes.
And he has said some very strange things when understood will reveal how important he is. And the one I would like to draw your attention to is when he spoke to the people of his church, the high leaders and so forth, when he said,
yes,
unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood,
okay,
you will not have life eternal.
Okay.
They could not understand that. There were many
Yes.
that left him when he said those words. And his disciples had to ask him, what happened? And Jesus said, are you going to leave me also? But the importance of that statement,
yes,
is even more important than the practical aspect of nutrition and eating. But it's just an example, as from the physical part,
yes,
nutrition and eating correctly is important to our physical health.
right.
So it is with our spiritual being, to be able to take time out and eat a little bit or all of the flesh of Christ, which means to feast on his word in the Bible, to listen to him. That is tantamount to eating his flesh and drinking his blood.
Yes.
When we surrender to all that he has done for us. And so that's his importance. But that one means eternal life. It's not like the physical nutrition, because eventually we all pass. But the opposite is true spiritually. Meditating on the words of Jesus Christ, allowing him to live in our lives by faith, which is the same as drinking the blood metaphorically, that is eternal. And so we remind you again this afternoon to be sure that you're eating of his flesh and drinking of his blood by reserving a time to listen to him speak from his word and to surrender him to him every single day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mark. I join you in those sentiments expressed. We will continue to do this program as long as you and I live for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Amen.
Yes, sir. We will continue to share moments with Christ. Today, our guests, our newly installed global brand ambassador. And as Dr. Mark was talking, I was looking to the persons on the Zoom, and I see there are quite a number of global brand ambassadors, but I guess this is the newest one in Nassau, Bahamas, perhaps the newest one in the world. And that is Shandera Smith. Shandera Smith serves as an elder at the Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church. As a matter of fact, she is what we call the first elder. So she's actually the head elder of the Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church. In the absence of the pastor, she is automatically in charge. She's a young lady who would join Pastor Mark and I in sharing her relationship with Christ. She's also a business lady, a nutritionist. But before I allow Shandera to share and to talk about artists, I want to invite you to Jesus the Chain Breaker tonight, which is at the actual church where Shandera serves as the head elder or the assistant or associate pastor. And that's with evangelist Kevin Sterling, beginning at 7:15. Those of you who know Shandera, you can touch base with her and get the link. So you can join by Facebook or Zoom or YouTube. And those of you who have a direct with me, you can touch base with me. And also you would be able to have access to the link to join us tonight. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Shandera Smith. Do your presentation, and then we're going to open it up. If anybody want to give some questions, or any of your other persons who are part of artists want to share on their experience. Welcome, Elder Evangelist Shandera Smith.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Elder Dave, for the opportunity to be here this evening and to share with your worldwide audience. And it's always a pleasure, especially when it comes to talking about nutrition. That's my thing. All right, so I just want to welcome also my fellow global brand ambassadors from ArdyssLife. So happy that you ladies have joined us today. And I'm going to be calling on you ladies a little later in the program to give just a brief testimony of your experience with using the products and being a part of ArdyssLife. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen right now. And today our topic is maximizing your nutrition. Now, when I was here a few weeks back, we talked about prioritizing your health. And so nutrition, I usually refer to nutrition as a foundation for a healthy living. And so Pastor Mark would have talked about nutrition a bit already. It's really important for especially our physical health. And actually, we need it for every aspect of our life. Because if we're not fueling our bodies as we should, then we don't get to be effective in those other aspects of our lives. So let's go all the way back to the first beginning, I like to say. Genesis 1:9-29 says, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seeds. It shall be food for you." So this is a diet that God gave us way back then. And remember that He is the one who created us, so He knows just what's best for our bodies. And then some years later, Hippocrates came up with the quote, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." And all through history, there's been a lot of research going on with food and its impact on our health. And even the research now is pointing to the fact that, hey, the whole food plant-based diet is the best diet for our bodies. It helps with preventing illnesses while keeping us healthy. And even if you have those health conditions, you also get to reverse them or even manage them even better, having more of a plant-based diet. And then someone years later came up with the quote, "You are what you eat." And indeed, we are what we eat. And we want to make sure that we were taking those healthy or nutritious foods in more than the other not so nutritious foods. And they really have a significant impact on our health. Okay, so let's look at how food and lifestyle choices affect our health, and we call them risk factors. So when we have too much calories, too much high fat and greasy food, too much salt, alcohol, not enough fiber, and when we're not active, it increases our chances for becoming overweight and obese. And then when we get in those positions, then we increase our chances for heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, some forms of cancer. And the thing is, you don't even have to be overweight or obese to develop these conditions, because even slim persons, normal weight persons also have these health conditions. So it points to the quality of your diet and not necessarily your weight. So you really have to watch what you eat. So I want you to look at food in a different light. Starting today, if you haven't done so already. So we want to look at food as a medicine, okay? look at food as something that's nourishing to our bodies. And so by doing that, we want to make sure that we choose the right foods. And also realizing that our bodies are the temple of the Lord, we want to make sure that we definitely put substances or food in our bodies that will actually promote our health and that will actually represent Christ as well. And so food works like a medicine in terms of decreasing and controlling inflammation. And inflammation is like the foundation for many types of disease development. So once we get inflammation under control, then we're pretty much good. And so our hormones is another issue when it comes to having good health, and especially with females. We have a lot of hormonal imbalances at the time, and it helps us to have a lot, especially reproductive health challenges. So we want to make sure that we eat the right foods to protect against that. And also food also works in like medicine in terms of alkalizing our body. And of course, we know disease cannot live in a body that is alkaline. It helps to balance the blood sugar, even the blood pressure. It helps to get rid of toxins out of our system that may cause potential harm to us. So what does healthy eating look like? So we want to choose, it's actually choosing nutrient-rich foods rather, taking high quality nutrition supplements, eating the right amounts of food, drinking mainly water and leaving those other sugar-sweetened beverages alone, using healthy food preparation methods, and also eating on time is very important. So we want our diet to be adequate, which means that it provides enough energy, nutrients, fiber, and other vitamins, minerals to support our health. Then we want it to be balanced, which means that we're putting in the right combinations of foods from the different food groups. We're also getting a variety of different foods in those food groups. And also that we're eating the right amounts of foods to maintain the proper weight. We're not eating too much, not too little. So we want to make sure to strike the right balance. And also we have a concept when it comes to our diet. We said eat breakfast like a king or queen, lunch like a prince or princess, and dinner or supper like a pauper, all right, or a beggar. So we wanted to have our biggest meal during the morning time. So we're actually able to break it off as we go throughout the day. And of course, also our metabolism is highest in the morning. And so when we have that biggest meal as breakfast, we're able to bring it off as we go throughout the day, as opposed to having a big meal in the evening when we're not really active and when our metabolism is also slower. So try to have your biggest meal. Now, when I say big, it doesn't mean that is excessive amount of food, but it's the right amount for you. So we have basically two styles of eating, plant-based and animal-based. So we have the plant-based, where the main difference is just the protein choice. So for the plant-based eaters, we have where we get our proteins from our peas and beans, nuts and seeds, and even whole grains. And we also get proteins from fruits and vegetables, but not as much as you would get from the peas and beans and nuts and seeds and even whole grains. And in terms of balance and plate distribution, we want a quarter to be our protein, a quarter to be our grains, and a half to be our fruits and veggies, but mainly veggies. So if you do eat meat, you want to make sure that it's just a quarter of the plate is just like the plant-based plate as well. And you want to make really good choices when you're having your meals, especially when it comes to your vegetables and fruits. Make sure you always get a variety. So let's go to the case of now supplements. So we want to take good quality nutrition supplements. Now, as I would have mentioned when I was on the last show, when I first became a dietitian and learning about nutrition, but when I was studying, actually, I didn't too quite believe in supplements so much, because I was like, why should we take supplements when we can get them from our food? But now realizing how our foods are produced, what they're putting in the foods, how much more of a demand for certain nutrients we need because of whether it's stress, our work, the type of work we do, other factors that actually increases our need for nutrients. And so sometimes we may not be able to get it all from our food. So this is where nutrition supplementation is really important. And so, of course, it doesn't hurt to take a multivitamin mineral supplement daily to ensure proper nutrition. It's almost like having an insurance policy to ensure that our health is good, it's optimal. And then some of us don't eat a well-balanced diet either. And so we would need to make sure that we actually have a supplement to take. And so when you're choosing your supplements, you want to make sure you take one that does the one that does meet 100 to 300% of the recommended dietary allowance. So if you were to look at your nutrition facts on your supplement container, make sure that none of them provide more than 300% of the RDA. When you get more than 300, you actually can potentially harm yourself, especially if it's a fat soluble vitamin like vitamin A, D, E, or K. All right. So make sure that you look at your labels carefully. Now, sometimes if you have a severe deficiency of certain nutrients, the doctor may give you a whole lot, well, more than 300% to actually correct that nutrition deficiency. And as long as that's corrected, you can go back to having normal amounts. So who needs supplements the most? Pregnant and breastfeeding women, women who have heavy menstrual losses, children, because they're picky eaters a lot of times, also infants, especially if they were born premature. Persons who have severe food restrictions, the seniors or elderly adults, persons who have nutrient deficiencies, persons who have chronic non-communicable diseases, as well as communicable diseases. And so when it comes to supplements again, okay, so of course, we want you to make sure that your diet is your first line of, or your first choice of nutrients. When you actually have a balanced plate, you actually get a lot of the nutrients that you need. And so supplements come there to help top up your diet and make sure that you get the one that you actually need to keep you healthy. And so supplements should never, ever replace a healthy diet. We want the two of them to work hand in hand. Okay. And so food actually provides the calories and energy that we need for our daily activities, but the supplements do not provide the energy and the calories. All right. It provides more of the nutrients. So we need to get our food as well as our nutrients or supplements. Okay, so how to choose good nutrition supplements or good quality supplements? You want to research a company and check their quality standards, how they actually produce their supplements. You also want to read the ingredients list to check for fillers and preservatives. So you want to get the ones that have little or no preservatives in them. Then you want to look for the ones that have fruits, vegetables, or herbal extracts added to them. That's really, really important because that can tell you the quality of the nutrients right away, especially when it comes to having those fillers and preservatives in those supplements. Then you want to check for their bioavailability, all right? How quickly do they get into your bloodstream? How quickly do they start to work? How easy do they work in your body? And then you want to see how much percent daily value is offered, as I've spoken of already. And then if you're not sure, you want to ask for professional advice. Okay, so I am really proud to say that ArdyssLife supplements, from what I've seen, it's really good quality supplements. I'll recommend them to anybody who are actually looking for supplements. And they are high bioavailability because a lot of them come in liquid form as well as powdered form, and they get into your bloodstream right away and they start to work. All right. And so we have a very high level of chronic illnesses or diseases across our region and even in the US, but across the Western world particularly. And I just want to highlight a couple of them so that we can, and I also want to show you in terms of our supplements with Ardys, but how we help to ease these health conditions or to manage these health conditions. And of course, these supplements are not regulated by the FDA because they're mainly food, and you can't really regulate food per se. The drugs are the ones that are normally regulated by the FDA. But we have real life stories of persons who have been using these supplements for many years. Ardys is over 32 years. We actually just celebrated 33 years. And so lots of persons would have been using these products and gotten really good results. And so this is why I really believe in them. And I actually promote them and I use them as well. And I believe that whoever uses them can actually benefit from them a whole lot. So let's look at cholesterol, a very popular illness in our country. And so cholesterol is like a fat-like substance that is in our body, and we need it for many essential body processes. If we don't have cholesterol, our bodies don't function well. And so when we, the thing is cholesterol, but our bodies actually produce all the cholesterol it needs. But because we eat meat and other meat products, we actually introduce more cholesterol into our bodies. And also when we're stressed out, if we have a diet high in refined foods, that also pushes up our cholesterol levels. And so we want to make sure that we know our numbers so that we can avoid having, so we can know what to do if our cholesterol levels are actually high. And so right now, so you see on the far left, you see a normal artery with no cholesterol buildup. And then as we move to the right, we have a narrowed artery or blood vessel that has a lot of cholesterol. Now what happens is that when we actually eat foods, and if they're what we call inflammatory foods, they actually damage our blood vessels. And then cholesterol comes in and acts like a Band-Aid. It helps to cover that area that's damaged or inflamed, all right? And so when that happens over a long period of time, then we actually get more, well, that formation is, they actually call it plaque, all right? And so the plaque actually sort of blocks or prevents the flow, the free flow of blood through our bloodstream or through our blood vessels, yes. And so, so cholesterol, so this is why I have an issue with too sometimes. Cholesterol actually does its job, but we actually make the not so healthy choices that cause our arteries to be almost, our bodies to be in a constant state of inflammation, where cholesterol is continuously trying to protect our blood vessels from the damage. All right, and so when our blood vessels become really clogged, that's where we're diagnosed as having high cholesterol. And that this also sets the stage for many other health conditions like high blood pressure. So the blood can't really get through the arteries as they should. And so they cause a lot of health issues, whether it's stroke or heart attack. And so we want our total cholesterol levels to be under 200 milligrams per deciliter. And so you see there like a traffic light, green means it's good. The yellow, some caution, and then dangerous when it's above 240. So you want to make sure keep your cholesterol levels under 200. And so we want to keep our LDL cholesterol under 100 and our HDL 60 and higher. So HDL is what we call the good cholesterol. So we want to keep that at a good level to really protect us from ill health events. So the high cholesterol also causes atherosclerosis, heart disease, peripheral vascular disease, and kidney disease. So this is why if you correct this at this stage, then we will sort of prevent these conditions from happening. Also the hypothyroidism, the gallstones, type 2 diabetes, all of those come as a result of or are influenced by high cholesterol. And so we have a number of different combos that we put together and recommend that you take if you have certain health conditions. So this is our cholesterol combo. That doesn't mean that you need to take all of these, but we can actually recommend. So after doing an assessment, we can actually see which ones you perhaps need the best based on what you're eating or what your diet is like at the time. And so these are the products here that we actually recommend for persons who have high cholesterol levels. And the next condition is hypertension or high blood pressure. So it's just a condition when the pressure is in our blood vessels is higher than it should be. All right, and we want to keep our blood pressure under 120 over, less than 120 over less than 80. So that's the normal. So that's in the green. Remember the traffic lights, again, the same concept. And anytime it gets over 120 and over 80, it becomes elevated. And then we call it high, stage 1, when it's higher than 130 to 139 over 80 to 89. And then stage 2, that's when it's really high, but not high as it could go. It's greater than 140 over 90. And so sometimes people blood pressure go up to 200 over 100 and something, and that's really dangerous. And so we want to do our best to keep our blood pressure under control by choosing a healthy diet and also taking supplements to mitigate against those. So we have our high blood pressure combo that we use. And also, these conditions also, medications are prescribed for them. And the thing is with medication, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take your medication. You can actually use these in conjunction with taking your medication. The good thing is with our supplements is that they don't cause any side effects, unlike medication that will cause a lot of side effects. All right, so make sure that when you are seeing a physician, make sure you let him know if you decide to take these products that you're actually taking these. And you also want to monitor yourself see how you're feeling. Because if you take these along with your blood pressure medication, they may cause your blood pressure to come down too low, and then you may still feel sick. So make sure that you listen to your body when you're actually taking these. Monitor your blood pressure every day. Take your numbers down, write them down. When you go to the doctor, you can let the doctor know that, hey, I'm doing this and these are my numbers. And once you're getting really good numbers, then the doctor can actually take you off the medication. Then you continue with these nutrition supplements. All right, let's go to diabetes. I'm sure all of us know someone who has diabetes, or some of us may have diabetes as well. So diabetes is just a condition where you have little to no, but the body's producing little to no insulin, or the insulin is not working properly. And so we have different types of diabetes. We have type 1, where the pancreas isn't producing any insulin at all. So the person has to get injections of insulin on a daily basis, a couple of times for the day. Then we have type 2 diabetes, where we have insulin resistance. That's where the insulin can't really, it's not working well to get the sugar into the bloodstream so that the body actually uses it for energy. And so we have a buildup of sugar in the bloodstream, and then that causes a whole lot of health challenges as well. And so if you were to go and get your blood test or your physical, and if your A1C, which is a test to see, well, it's almost like a diagnostic test for type 2 diabetes. It measures how much how much sugar is attached to your red blood cells. Now, if you have more than 6.5%, you're diagnosed as having diabetes. If it's between 5.7 to 6.4, you're pre-diabetes, so your blood sugar is not high enough to be diagnosed as having diabetes, or it's not low enough to be classified as being normal. And so we want to make sure that we always aim for our A1C to be less than 5.7%. And so we have our diabetes combo that we actually recommend as well. You see the different products there. Oh, I forgot those versus on radio land. So we have what we call the Red Lviv, Multi Plus, Green Lviv, Pure Noni, Pro Digest, Power Boost, Green 29, Sweet Balance. Just want to say something about the Pure Noni. Yes, we have a lot of noni in the Bahamas, especially in NASA. They grow wild. But the good thing is that noni in this way, it's already formulated to the concentration, to the frequency that we need to have in our diet in order to be able to help to mitigate against these health conditions. I'm not saying that you can't go and use your noni that's on the tree, but this one's already formulated. You can still use that too, but this one is just already formulated. It's a much easier, convenient form to use. Okay, so all of you would know, if not all of us would know, that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we want to highlight we just want to create more awareness and try to advise people of how to actually prevent breast cancer and also treat or manage breast cancer as well. So breast cancer is a disease in which the cells of the breast grow out of control. Just like any other part of the body, colon cancer, whatever kind of cancer, the cells there just grow out of control. And so the breast cancer could be in the lobules of the breast, the ducts, or the connective tissue. Now, statistics says that 1 in 8 women would be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, but you don't want it to be that 1 in 8 women to be you. So you're going to do your best to prevent breast cancer. Now, there are some risks that we have for breast cancer. There are some risks that we have that are modifiable and some that are non-modifiable. So the ones that are modifiable, like exercise, our weight, whether we have alcohol or not, whether we decide to do hormone replacement therapy, whether we have children, we can do something about them, okay? Now, the ones we can't do anything about, like if we have a family history, a menstrual history, if you have to get radiation and for any kind of health condition, or if you have really dense breast tissue, they actually help you to, but they actually increase the risk for breast cancer more. So we want to make sure focus on the factors that we can control to make sure that we decrease our risk for breast cancer. Okay, and some symptoms, we want to make sure that we also pay attention to the symptoms of breast cancer. Nipple discharge, lumping and thickening of the breasts, visible lumps there, skin irritation, armpit pain. All of those are different symptoms for breast cancer. So if you see any of those, make sure go and get a check, because the earlier you check for it, the better your chances are for survival and for actually even reversing it, or what they call going remission. All right. And so there are many different interventions for breast cancer. People want to, I like to focus more on the lifestyle choices, okay? And doing those things the lifestyle choices in terms of being able to do the things that will prevent you from developing breast cancer. And so when it comes to the diet of breast cancer, we want to make sure that we stay away from the sugar-sweetened beverages, don't drink alcohol, also being physically active, achieving a healthy weight, and making smart food choices, staying away from refined foods as well. All of those go along with helping us to prevent breast cancer, as well as other forms of cancer. And so the foods that we really want you to focus on if you have breast cancer, and even for prevention, are the orange-colored fruits and vegetables. They have beta-carotene and other substances that actually help to protect the body against breast cancer, as well as to heal your body if you have breast cancer. So make sure that you get like the yams, or the sweet potatoes, grapefruit, the mangoes, the cantaloupes, papayas, the different types of squash, whether it's pumpkin or butternut squash. Also the orange bell peppers are also really good foods and helping to prevent and treat breast cancer. And in Ardyss, we also have the angel bra. And I talked about the angel bra when I was here last time. And we really want women to
I think that she has freeze. Can anybody else hear her?
No, she's not heard. Screen is on, but no audio.
Okay, thanks. While we're waiting on her to get back in, I just want to share a little about the show, Transforming Lives, the goals that we intend to accomplish on a program like this while we try to get Shandera back in. We seek to share information that talks about the transformation of lives that take place. And we always recognize that the greatest transformation is always from a spiritual perspective, first and foremost. But while we wait on Shandera, I know there's some other people who are part of Ardyss. Maybe you can share some of the other products that you're offering and some other information on Ardyss until Shandera gets back in. Go ahead, just share.
Go ahead, doctor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Yes, I want to appreciate Shandera for serving us. But as she was speaking, my mind went back to my mother, who was a nurse for 36 years, and she had hypertension and cholesterol issues, and she was on 5 major medications, and I want to call them because she was on Lipitor, Daflon, Plenbil, HTC, and Lepressa. And those products that Shandera had up on the screen, the Red Levine, the Omega 369s, and all the other rest of the products that we have, it was a fight, I'm going to tell you, at the beginning, because, you know, as a nurse, you know, the training was on just natural stuff. But what happened was the Lipitor damaged her liver. And I spoke to the doctor and I told the doctor, these are the products that I'm putting her on. And he said, okay, but if she doesn't do better in 3 months, I have to do what I have to do. And so me and my sister came together, we put our funds together, and we had her on the Ardyss products for about 8 months. We went back to the doctor, and the doctor, it was like he was in awe. He couldn't believe the results from her liver. She basically looked like she had a new liver. And he asked us to bring in everything that we gave her. And that's exactly what we did. We took, I'm not going to call the doctor's name, we took every product that we gave her. And he was like, oh my goodness. He said, yeah, these work. And he said, I heard about this company before. So keep her on these products. And that has been at least about 8 years now. And she's been on all her medications for all that time. And I'm happy because I've been a part, this is my 13th year using these products. And I'm a very proud brand ambassador with Ardyss. And I would tell everybody that God created our bodies to heal itself, but our bodies can't heal itself unless it has the proper nutrition. And what I like about Ardyss products is that most everything that we have is liquid and powder. So which means then the products don't last that long. Anything that is natural doesn't last long. So when you consume a bottle of Lviv, it's gone in about a week because they're natural noni, goji, mangosteen, acai berry, and pomegranates. But I'm happy to say that, and as we have people here, we are in 77 countries. All over the world. The company is a Mexican company. All the ingredients from the products come from places like Asia and Thailand and South America, and they go into the deep bushes of India and Indonesia and get these products, and they put it together what they call synergistically, so we don't overdose on it. So which means then there's no issue for me turning a bottle of Red Lviv to my head and just drinking it. But I'm happy that we have Shandera on board, and I basically asked her, and as I asked every nutritionist, what is the difference between Ardyss products and other products? And she would say, now, I couldn't tell people the difference. All I knew was I just drink everything. And I know that it definitely worked for me. But nutrition is something that most people only pay attention to when they're on their dying bed. And most people don't understand that prevention is better than cure. And the money that you think you're saving, you're not saving it. You're going to pay more because you have to basically keep our bodies alkaline, especially in this time wherein, viruses are coming a dime a dozen. Every time it's a new something, a new virus, a new flu, a new something. And so I admonish all of us to take our health serious because our health is our wealth. And I personally chose ArdyssLife to assist me with that for the mere fact of, although I have noni in my yard, I do not know how much noni I'm supposed to consume, because if I take too much noni, I could overdose and damage my brain. But when you put things in supplements, the doctors and the nutritionists, they come together and they put it together. They have the right formula and the right dosage, and they put it together synergistically so we won't overdose on it. So I'm just happy to be here. And every time she's here, I'm happy to edify her because I'm not a nutritionist, but she just break things down for me even more. But I'm just a lover of the products, and I'm happy that some of my team members are here from Antigua. I see them from Eleuthera. I saw Annette Gay, and she's a breast cancer survivor in Atlanta, Georgia, and she's cancer-free by using our Ardyss products. And I see Esther Cooper, she's also in NASA, and Bettina is in Eleuthera, Bahamas, and I know she has a lot of work to do because there's a lot of cancer in Eleuthera as well. And kudos to Antoinette Lewis, who's also on here. And we're just excited. So I see that she's back. I'm gonna stop talking. Y'all could stop me at any point in time because I'm a talker. So I see you're back on. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Platinum Lewis. Thank you for chipping in there. My internet dropped somehow and it got disconnected, but I'm happy to be back on. And you basically covered some of what I was going to share, so that is good. And so if you can make me co-host again, I just want to show a few more things from the slides. That's different combos. I probably could just speak about them. But for basically every health condition that we have or that exists, there is Ardyss products that can help to alleviate those health conditions. And so whether it's gastritis, arthritis, fibroids, asthma, anemia, you name the health condition, and we have the products that can actually assist in alleviating those health conditions. And I was talking about the angel bra, I think, when we got disconnected. So I just want to encourage all of you women to make sure that you have your, make sure to get angel bras to wear rather than wearing those underwire bras. Okay, just for good breast health and to prevent or to lower your chances for getting breast cancer. And also for our nurses, we also have a combo for nurses as well. We know our nurses are like the heartbeat of our healthcare system. We see them everywhere, so we want them also to be healthy. And so we have combos for nurses for them to take in order for them to really experience a good level of health and be able to perform, as well as to prevent injuries on the job. So we want to encourage our nurses to use our products as well. Okay, so at this time, I just want to, our brand ambassadors. I want to start with Miss, also to be President Annette Gator. Annette Gay. As Platinum Lewis mentioned, she's a breast cancer survivor. So Annette, I just want you to share a little bit of your experience with having cancer with using the Ardyss products, just so people know that it's real.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Great presentation and good evening to everyone. I want to say I am Annette Gay out of Atlanta, Georgia, and my experience with the products has been phenomenal. By the grace of God, these products have kept my body alkaline, and that's through the package that Ambassador Shandera was sharing. The Levine juice has been amazing because it has those 5 powerful berries and fruit that fight cancer cells. And I want to just call them out. I heard Dr. Anastasia Lewis speaking of them, and one was the noni, and the acai berry, goji, pomegranate, and the mangosteen. All of those are cancer fighters. They fight cancer cells, and it has been a 5-year journey for me that I am in remission. So for me to be diagnosed with breast cancer, there's no history of it in my family. There were no signs that told me that I had breast cancer. I was only maybe a couple of weeks late in having my mammogram. And this time, when I went, it was the Holy Spirit that directed me to make sure that I scheduled one. So these products have really kept my immune system boosted. I wouldn't trade them for anything because I have really been consistent on them every day. And by doing so, it's keeping my body and my immune system boosted. So I just want to say these ArdyssLife products are amazing. I love them. And as I stated, the 5 years that I've been on them, they have kept my body, I want to say alkaline, and that's where I wanted to keep it. So thank you, Shandera, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much for sharing your testimony with us. Awesome. Okay, any of our other global brand ambassadors want to testify about the products that they've used? Go ahead, soon to be President Lewis, Antoinette.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to share on two products that I've personally had an experience with. It is so good to find a company, and instead of saying a company or an organization, a family, a group of persons that come together and really work together and push you. Behind the scenes, you have our Platinum who pushes, I talking about feverishly. So we have to stay in the spirit. Hey, but I can tell you that having being in the classroom for about 7 years, every September, every new school year, you get the cold. And it's not from not taking your vitamins. Sometimes you don't have sufficient time within the day to drink enough water or even eat a full meal. So sometimes you are dealing with sick children that come to school with the runny noses and the cough and the cold and the fevers. So ultimately you will start to feel certain symptoms. Well, this September, even before September, last school year, I was tested twice and positive for COVID-19. And after being tested twice for COVID, it was really dampening on my spirit. And so I tried to stay up with the D3 and the zinc and all of that, but I would still, after being in the classroom, still get sick every month. Now, here's an opportunity that was presented to me by my Ardyslian mommy, Shandy. And so I just was like, these products look so familiar. These products look so familiar. They were in my home and I did not know what they were. My parents, who are in their mid-60s, were taking them. And I was like, y'all don't even know where these came from. Y'all just got these and y'all just taking these things, and they are running around the yard and gardening and pruning trees and transplanting trees. And they just have this burst of energy. And I'm like, yeah, that's because they probably filled with all kind of narcotics and all kind of fillers, giving y'all some false energy. I even had my parents throw away some of the bottles because I did not trust it. Not until this opportunity came. And I was like, I've seen these things. I've seen that it works. And I felt like a big klutz for even not researching it like I should have. So fast forward to this year where, we're still in the height of COVID. Children are coming to school with runny noses. The cold would never leave them. They're sneezing. Sometimes you get a full sneeze in your face. And the only thing that you can do is wipe your face off and go about the day. And so I came home and I was really feeling ill. My eyes were burning, my throat was burning. And I just was like, I think I'm going to call in. And my mom was like, no, this is the second week of school, man. Come on, Antoinette. Get some products. The same products you're selling, take them. And I was just like, no, I think they for my customers. So what I did, I made a concoction. I mixed the red Lviv, the green Lviv, the Multi Plus, and I put a little power boost in there. And I drank that down. And I was like, well, anyway, good night, everybody. I'm going to rest for the evening. Rest where? In 15 minutes, I was up and about doing work. And my mom stopped me and was like, weren't you supposed to be sleeping? I was like, yeah, feeling sick. I was like, feeling sick where? Listen, these products work and they work quickly. And did I mention that they taste good? They taste so good. So not only are these products filled with nutrition and antioxidants, but they work quickly. These products are the healing of the nation, honey, because they have natural products. And like my Ardyslian mama always says, no fillers, no additives, nothing no chemical compound are in these products. So they are really good. Then I also want to talk about the Body Magic. This garment really gives support. This garment gives support. I was diagnosed with pinched nerves, having excruciating pains. And so just like the angel bra, how it lifts and it supports and it does the body good, the tatas good, this Body Magic does the body good, okay? It helps to control your abdomen, providing a good and flat out appearance, pulls your shoulders back and supports your posture. Many of us love to slouch, especially if we are on our feet all day. We have as teachers in the classroom, we have terrible back pains, especially if you're on the little fluffier side, okay? Or even if you have issues like pinched nerves. So it gives your shoulders and back support beyond measure. Gives upper and lower back reinforcement, like I said, and it thins the appearance of your hips and your thighs. lifts and holds the buttocks up in position, and it helps to reduce your overall appearance. So you are reduced to 2 to 3 dress sizes, 2 to 3 inches instantly within 10 minutes. So these are the personal experiences I've had with Ardyss, and it's Ardyss to the world, baby. I am a proud global brand ambassador for life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, soon to be President Lewis, Antoinette Lewis. Okay, this time I'm gonna just turn it over because we just have a few minutes left. I'm gonna turn it over to the host who may field the questions to us, if anybody has any questions.
Jackie, is Jackie on? I think Jackie is on. Jackie, you have any questions?
You're muted, Ms. Gardner.
Wonderful presentation once again. I was listening so intently that I even forgot to unmute my mic. But congratulations to you and to the Global Ambassador brand. Excellent product. So I definitely want to hear some more information. So we definitely want you to leave your contact information. So personally, I'm asking for myself, not asking for a friend, asking for myself. It's something my family can benefit from. In terms of, I joined a little bit late, but did you mention anything in terms of it assisting with any sleep, persons who have problems sleeping properly? Would this, any of your products assist them?
Yes, definitely. We have what we call a coral calcium. It helps with sleeping, so yes.
Could you repeat the name of that product?
Coral calcium. It's a liquid supplements beverage.
Coral calcium. Okay,
Yes.
that's great. Could you repeat your contact information again, or did you place it in the group? Because
no, I haven't. I had it on the slide to show, but I got knocked off and I'm not able to share it.
That's so important. We would not want you to give all this good information without the contact accompanying it. So use this opportunity to big up that contact information. How can they reach you?
So you can reach me at 428-4251. That's 428-4251.
Persons are listening on radio and television too.
Yes.
Okay. There it is. 428-4251. All right. Yes. I need to copy that. 428-4251. All right. Here is an opportunity. How close we're nearing our time, but I don't know if someone in our group in the Zoom room have a popping question. We wouldn't want you to return home or leave Zoom with that question unanswered. So anyone, can you just raise your hand if you have a popping question that you would like to ask at this particular time? I know she was very clear and concise, but there might still be a lingering question. Let's see. Trying to. All right, we have an email. So she gave a telephone contact and an email address there.
Jackie, Shandera.
Oh, so yes, my email is Shandera, Shandera 2000@yahoo.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Shandera Moy-Smith. Or if you look for me under Trinity Wellness Center, I'm also there as well. All of those are my contacts. But if you contact me on 428-4251, you'll get me more quickly.
Okay, over to you, Dave. I could hear you calling out to us.
Right. No, I just wanted to remind you that there are persons who listen by radio or cable TV, so that, sometimes we forget it and we type it in the chat and those persons don't get it. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. So she did it. All right. So Shandera, one more time. Could you repeat those contacts? Because we don't want them reaching out. They can probably call Dave and I as a backup, but we want them to go directly to you. So please repeat those contacts once again.
Okay, 428-4251. That's 428-4251. Or if you want to reach me by email, it's Shandera2000@yahoo.com. That's Shandera 2000@yahoo.com. I'm also on Facebook. You can look for me under my name, Shandera Moy-Smith. There's some other Shandera Smiths, but make sure you see Shandera Moy-Smith. Or you can look under, find me also on Trinity Wellness Center on Facebook as well.
Okay, so my last question to you, what if somebody has one or two, well, say two or more of those diagnoses? Is there a conflict in your products? Like I might look at that and say, hey, I have two of those ailments that you mentioned. can I blend those products together, or one has to be taken in isolation of the other?
No, you can actually blend them together. We have, yeah, so, and usually if, let's say if you have diabetes and high blood pressure, there may be similar products that you would use for both of those conditions.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's no conflict. There's usually no conflict with the products.
And how often a day? It depends on what product. They have different schedules, some once a day, some twice a day, or it's more or less a standard schedule. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, okay, so it depends on which ones you're on. So let's say if you're on the liquid ones, you can take them like up to 3 times a day. If you're on the supplements, the capsules, they perhaps recommended like once or twice for the day.
Okay. Well, thank you. Very good information, Dave. I see you're back on, so that's indicative of the fact that it's time to say goodbye. But once again, we want to say thank you so much, Shandera Smith, for a wonderful, informative presentation. And feel free to come back, connect with us anytime. To the entire team, I love your leaders.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for sharing the information. And we are sure, starting with me, that you would receive inquiries, and we will have persons supporting you in terms of this venture. So once again, thank you so much, and over now to the one and only Mr. David Williams.
Just good afternoon to those of you tuning in live on the radio, cable TV 974, Global 99.5. We here every Sunday 4 to 5 on this program. We call it Transforming Lives. And of course, we recognize that the greatest transformation that takes place is when one have a relationship with Christ, not a church, not a denomination, but here's our relationship with Jesus Christ. I want to remind you of the cookout, the breakfast for the young lady who has a form of breast cancer next week at the C.A. Christie office. That's West Bay Street. We remind you to go next week Saturday between the hours of 8 and 1. Give them the support. We also want to remind you tonight, don't meet us there. You ought to beat us there. Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church, Jesus the Chain Breaker, Evangelist Kevin Sterling. We're inviting you to come out, be a part of it. WhatsApp me, message me if you need the link, so you can watch it in the comfort of your home. But we prefer you to also be there. Thank you, Shandera Smith, for a presentation on artists. Thank you, my co-host, Jackie Gardner. Also, we just want to remind you, the way we always end the program, that there's nothing more important than having a personal relationship with Christ, who alone gives us eternal life. Next week, our guest is from Kiwanis, and the week after that is a story we don't want you to forget, especially for all of the women here. She's a mother, she's a lawyer, her children were taken away from her. She has not seen her children in 2 years. Normally we use that being the cry of a male, but you're going to hear her story. It's a powerful one, and she's a former prosecutor for the government, and she's going to share her story, their final Sunday in this month, as to what it's like being away for children for 2 years, and they were taken away from her by the order of the court, and she felt that there's some injustice that has taken place. And so her story, the end of the month, that's the final Sunday in this month. Dave Williams, Jackie Gardner on the program Transforming Lives on Global 99.5. Have a wonderful afternoon.
David, we are still live. You need to end the live stream or make me host and I will end it.
Oh, I can end everything, you know. End it? I'll end it. Okay.